Welcome to Keep It Humane, the podcast,
where we talk about animal control, shelters, and animal welfare, and the people doing the work.
With your hosts,
Ashley Bishop,
and Daniel Ettinger, helping people help animals. Well, welcome back. It's another episode with the same three.
Yay!
Ashley, and I should just change my name to Ashley at this point. Yeah.
But then you have to spell it different, so you have to be Leigh.
I was going to say the same thing.
But didn't you say your name, your spelling is the male version of Ashley?
I tried looking that up, and it may not have been. That's what I was originally told.
Wait, what if I just renamed my whole name? First name is Ash, last name is Lee.
That's hilarious.
I mean,
and I could just be Ash Lee. Well, anyway, keep
but then you're going to go by
Ash. Yeah, that's cool. No, that's real cool. What are you talking about?
That is so cool. I don't let anybody call me Ash unless you know me. There's very few people that are allowed to call me Ash.
Which is really funny because I have there's a group of 6 Ashleys in our friend circle, and one of them goes solely by Ash.
See? Well, welcome back to another episode of Keep It Humane, the podcast. I don't know why I try to say that part really fast. Keep It Humane, the podcast, brought to you by so many things. Check out our website. The e-learning on-demand stuff is live. You have why one
Dan's
number...
kicking ass with that stuff, by the way, guys. Please check it out.
It's in its infancy stages. I appreciate that. It's still early, but I'm trying to spread the trying to spread the word.
Words.
Why one number can't define animal welfare. That's about a 1 hour on-demand e-learning training, which is really getting some good feedback. I try to form that course in a way that was I didn't want it to seem like there's a bias. I think there's this huge misconception that people think I hate no-kill. I don't hate it. I just don't love the terminology and some of the misconceptions that come from it. And I really wanted to educate people through this course on where it came from, because I don't think people really know. I think people associate no-kill with best friends. It was around long before best friends was even established. And so it's not, they may be the biggest champion of the word today. And maybe that's even something that's not intentional. I think their slogan is actually save them all, not necessarily no-kill. So it really highlights some of the differences on how no-kill came about. And I don't want to give away the course for free here on this podcast, but I will say this. What really dawned on me while doing my research, and I'd love your opinions on this before we introduce our guests, what really dawned on me before or while doing the research and understanding maybe the why on how it became so popular. I think one of the main reasons, and if I'm wrong, Ashley, please tell me I'm wrong, but what I was looking at is before no-kill became a, what would you call it? Was it a noun? Is it an adjective? What would you call that?
An action word?
Yeah, well, whatever it is, before it became a popular way to describe shelters, most shelters were still considered the dog pound. And now you have this negative brand identity as the dog pound, or you could have a no-kill shelter, which is a positive brand identity. And I think that helped with the adoption, no pun intended, of the no-kill terminology. Was now I don't have to be considered a negative dog pound. I can have this positive name, no-kill, in front of shelter, instead of you're never going to hear somebody call it a no-kill dog pound. You're going to hear. Wait, you've heard that?
She's in Texas.
Yeah, that's a
little.
Wait, let me just try this on real quick. Hey, yo, I was calling to see, is this a no-kill dog pound? Is that how it was?
Yes. I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, my interactions, because I've had to sit up front, dealing with customers and stuff like that to help out because we're short. I've already had at least 2 to 3 instances where well, you know that you're known as the kill shelter. And I'm like, well, we really just don't go by that. And then we have to educate, and, sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. It just really depends on the individual. There's just one lady who came in who was bringing us a pretty ill kitten. And we, again, transparency is a big thing for our department and just me in general and animal welfare. And we laid it out pretty thick. And, the next thing she said, she's like, I'm getting out of this godforsaken state and town. And she later mentioned that she was going to another southern state. And I was like, well, good luck, because it's the same over there.
But what you just explained is the effect of the terminology. It's not so that, again, I was trying to say like more so the terminology was so readily accepted because everything has been so what you're just
A
saying.
negative connotation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why it spread so fast. So check out the training,
Fair enough.
keephumane.com. Why one metric can't define our profession. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but other than that, how are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Slightly
Just-
confused because you got a little confusing there at the end.
That's
But
you know, that's what happens. Early mornings. Hey, you know what?
Yeah, you were up early this morning, bro. I was like, who's texting me at like 8:30? Which I know it's earlier for you.
Yeah,
I know it's early for you, but I'm like, Jesus.
To be fair, I was appreciative of the text because I did not see that there was 2 episodes on our schedule. So
See, I told you.
I know. Those are behind the scene metrics. Let's just jump into it. I want to talk about plants and mushrooms with animals, but maybe they can help me too because I definitely need some help. So let's bring in Angela Ardolino, who is a mushroom and plant expert when it comes to dogs and animals. So what an amazing like world and title. Like, so tell us a little bit about you, Angela. Welcome to the show.
Well, this is, I took my 2 favorite things, dogs, plants, and, well, 3 favorite things. Actually, adaptogens. I'll just say that. I took dogs and adaptogens, which are my favorite things in the world, and I made a career out of it. So that's what I did. And the whole reason I do what I do is because I did have a rescue for 17 years, and I couldn't believe when you run a rescue, especially it became a senior dog rescue,
Yeah.
and you see everybody bringing in their animals that they're giving up on.
It's awful.
It is. And that's inhumane.
Absolutely.
Especially when there are all natural plant and mushroom extracts that literally help the body do what it's supposed to do and keep you at homeostasis and healthy. So all I would do is take these dogs with the worst conditions on 5 to 15 different medications. Their pet parents can't take it anymore. The dog is suffering. I would get it. I'd literally wean it off. Of course, this is after I've been educated. Wean them off their pharmaceuticals, put them on a real food diet, and bring the oldest, sickest dog back to homeostasis every single time. So this is what I did. And my whole story started by learning about cannabis medicine and used it myself to bring myself back to normal after being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis.
Ugh.
And the more I learned about cannabis medicine and this master system that we all have called the endocannabinoid system, I thought it was inhumane to keep it away from anybody, humans or animals. But we all have something called the endocannabinoid system. They've actually changed it to the endocannabinoid OM now because they've incorporated the gut microbiome into this system.
Wait, I need to really listen to this.
And it is the master system in our body in charge of all of our other systems. And our doctors and veterinarians are taught nothing about it. So if you've got a cardiovascular or a respiratory problem or whatever, and you're just treating that system and ignoring the endocannabinoid system, you're never going to get back to homeostasis. Never. So the system is this system that has receptors all over the body, all over our brain, our central nervous system, skin, all over our organs, all over our gut microbiome. And remember, our gut microbiome is where our immune system lives.
Mm-hmm.
And its main thing is to keep us balanced and to deal with inflammation. So it helps with mood, pain, everything. Inflammation is the basis of every problem and every disease.
Yeah, it is.
Tell
So
me
it isn't,
about it.
and it's not like a drug where it turns the body, a system off, or blocks something, it literally works with. So we produce something called endocannabinoids. When we don't produce enough endocannabinoids, there happens to be this beautiful plant called the cannabis plant that produces
Well,
phytocannabinoids
we
fill
gotta
those
pause real quick.
deficiencies.
This is about to be one of the most controversial episodes we've had in a long mother effing time because, like, weed is looked at so different where you are regionally. You and I are in California, Texas. I don't know how y'all see weed down there. In Wisconsin, it's either milk or dairy or cheese. Like that's it. So I just want to
But
stop
we're
you
surrounded by states
that
that
allow
love to
it. That
use it.
are you so
Are
really
you not a
quick.
cannabis state?
I was just gonna ask, are
Me?
you yeah. For medical?
Really?
Medical?
Nope.
What about you? Is Texas a medical or both?
No, very rarely can you get a card if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not educated
The reason
enough.
Angela, I didn't really
You know
mean
what?
to,
We
I didn't
might
want
be
to
medical.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I had to get it out there because a lot of people are going to associate with weed as being a bad thing. And I think with your expertise and educational approach here, it's going to help a lot. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, there's two different things. There's recreational cannabis slash marijuana, and then there's medical. Everything that I'm talking about is medical. I'm not talking about walking into a recreational dispensary and buying anything and giving it to your dog because it's not medicine. It's to get you high. So I'm here to teach you that medical marijuana, cannabis, so it's cannabis and it's hemp and marijuana. So hemp is where it has less THC and therefore it has more CBD and is known as hemp. Marijuana has more THC, therefore has less CBD and is known as marijuana. And all that's about to change or not because there's a ban in place. What I'm talking about that works best for dogs is a full spectrum hemp extract. So hemp only has a tiny bit of THC to make it synergistic and work, but not enough to make your pet high. And we've already have research from 1973 where they wanted to see how much THC it would take to kill a dog. I'm sorry, kill a person. And what they always do is they research on animals.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave rats, beagles, and chimpanzees 9,000 milligrams of THC.
Oh,
Jeez.
And not a dog or a chimpanzee died. There's no LD50. There's no lethal dose that can kill an animal because it's not interacting with that heart, cardiovascular, or your breathing. It's none of that. It's interacting with this master system, which literally is controlling everything else. And since I'm a clinician, I've had dogs where I've given them THC, medical, because sometimes aggressive cancer, aggressive pain, those types of things, THC works well. And I also wanted to show everybody with my own Doberman who had osteosarcoma. I didn't do anything conventional. I treated her completely holistically. I extended my geriatric Doberman's life with osteosarcoma 2 years past her diagnosis and never had to use a single pain med.
Wow.
So, and she ran around happy chasing bunnies, holding up her wrist the entire time. And to me, it was just so much better than what a dog who gets that diagnosis normally has to go through. And they're still gone in 4 or 5 months. So anyway, it's just, I like to educate everybody about the system. I literally healed myself and then threw myself into the cannabis industry, became a huge advocate, got it legalized in my state, which used to be Florida. I have taught more doctors and veterinarians about this, how to use the medicine. And in 2016, I was invited to the inaugural class at the University of Vermont School of Medicine for the study of cannabis for its therapeutic uses and its biology. And that's how I know the majority of what I know. So I know how to source. I know what all the different strains do, the different cannabinoids do. You guys only know about CBD and THC, but there's 118 discovered cannabinoids now. And they all have unbelievable effect, but only when they're together, not separated and isolated out. So you name it. At my rescue, after I got this reputation of who I was, I used to ask the holistic veterinarians who were my favorite, what do you want to know? And they're like, what are you using it for? How do you use it? So that's all I started to do at my rescue farm. Worked with a lot of veterinarians who would get cases and go, hey, I think you can do something with this one. But I also owned a very busy groom, boarding, and daycare and store where I would see 500 different dogs a week. And they were all suffering. They all had lumps and bumps and skin issues and mobility issues. So, also when I got out of school, I couldn't find a product that was made right. All I could find was products that were human products that someone just slapped a paw label on it and they'd have flavoring, some sort of weird artificial flavoring in it because they thought they had to get the dog to eat it, bacon or cheese. Some had xylitol in it. So I'd be the crazy person.
Jesus.
Yep. I'd be the crazy person at these conferences going, get this shit off your table. And
Hell yeah.
yeah. So I just was like, all right, well, I guess I got to formulate something because there's nothing out there. I'm also one of the few that understood herbalism and mushroom medicine and was able to take those and formulate, things all together. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing ever since. And I've had some of the most complicated cases and hard cases, and have always been able to bring that animal back to health, back to homeostasis. So it's very cool. I love what I do.
How do we get the industry to kind of catch up in a sense? Because, yeah, obviously being in Texas, there's such a stigma. But even then, there's so much crap, like little shit on the market. And, people just fall for this advertisement all the time. Well, this is going to help your anxious pet. And, during 4th of July, we'll get all the spam and all the bullshit on Facebook from, companies who are doing this stuff. How do you educate somebody on how to look for products if they're looking for products for their pet?
Amazing question. Good question. So I would never buy any natural product, whether it be a mushroom extract, a plant extract, or a hemp extract, without having something called a COA, which is a certificate of analysis from a third-party lab. What that is that they test it. You send it off to a third-party lab. They test it and they prove to you that it has what you say in it, but more importantly, that it doesn't have any contaminants. So both mushrooms, a lot of herbs, and hemp are bioaccumulators. So they pull everything out of whatever they're grown in and on in their environment. So it's very important to make sure you have that to prove that it's free of herbicides, pesticides, heavy metals, solvents, mycotoxins, aflatoxins, all those things that could harm your pet. It's also an indication that it's a clean product and that the company cares and tests and make sure that their product is clean before they send it out. So that's the number one thing. Second thing is that it's a full spectrum product, meaning it's not an isolate of CBD. So isolate of CBD has already been proven to cause liver damage, liver injury. They actually did a research study with humans and they had to stop it. They were given 1,500 milligrams of CBD isolate because it was injuring the liver. But that's a perfect example of how you take a whole plant extract versus isolating one thing and making it into a pharmaceutical drug. That's what pharmaceutical drugs are. Every pharmaceutical drug comes from a food, plant, or mushroom that did the job, but they cannot patent nature. So they go into a lab, they spend millions of dollars, and they recreate it and then release it, never having to prove that it is safe or effective. And the reason I know that is because I've done my first piece of clinical research and went to a research center that literally does it for pharmaceutical drugs. And he informed me how it works.
Would you
Big pharma. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Well, so I wanted to transition into that. Would you say some of the things like Rimadyl and are pain meds for dogs, are they
Crap?
Yeah, would you in your opinion
Tell us how you really feel, Angela.
in your opinion, would you say they're crap?
It's not just my opinion, but yes, in my opinion, they are. Can I curse?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
This is yeah.
Friggin' crap. But
It's not cursing. What are you talking about?
okay, they're fucking crap.
Yeah.
So
Now, if we had a veterinarian on here that
bring
prescribed that,
bring it. I would love nothing more than to get in a debate with anybody in conventional medicine, but no one will do it with me for some reason.
Ugh.
They just like to type in their comments and then when I give it back to them. So let me explain to you how pain works.
Please.
Also, let me explain to you who I am. I went to school as a journalist. So I'm like an investigative. I want to know the cause. I want to get to the bottom of the story. So I think that helps with my crazy ass personality. But when I saw that most dogs coming through my shop were suffering, I needed to know. I wanted to know what the lumps and bumps were. Why is this dog on 5 pain medications? This doesn't make any sense. This is why. So pain, I'm just going to talk about pain. Pain works through 5 signaling pathways. So they create drugs. So here's the 5 pathways. They create drugs to target just one of those pathways. That way we can sell you 5 different drugs. They also don't know how to recreate nature. So they give you a drug, you go back, how's your pain? I think he's still in pain. I'm not sure. He's still panting or he's not going up the steps. Okay, we'll give another one. You come back in. How is it? A little better, but I think, and then you're on 3 to 5 different pain meds and you have no idea what the side effects of all of those drugs together in this body. Cannabis has been proven to interact with all 5. That's the problem, guys. If we all discover cannabis medicine and hemp medicine, we will no longer be doing these 5 pain meds that don't work and make you sick and feel terrible. That's what the problem is. That's why we have to keep this information from you. We have to ban it in your state, ban it in your state, ban hemp. We cannot allow people to buy a tincture over the counter and help their pain and anxiety and everything else that's going on. Cannabis would replace most drugs. That is what the problem is. You want to know who had in 1999, who had the patent for cannabis as a neuroprotectant
let me
and
guess.
antioxidant?
Can I guess?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with whoever owns aspirin.
It's worse. It's the biggest, worst answer ever.
Tylenol.
Wait.
The United States government.
Oh. I was going to say Johnson & Johnson.
Oh.
Why does the United States government get a patent on something as a medicine and then call it a non-medicine and then make it a Schedule 1 drug or
It's fucking wild. Holy shit.
People can call me a conspiracy theorist. People can call me whatever. I'm like, no, I know too much. I now know how research is done, how supplements made, how pharmaceuticals are made, how they're tested, where they come from. Cancer's the same. Oh my goodness, baby dog.
If you're not watching on YouTube, that's the reason for the sudden change and everything.
Yes. Because it's a baby dog on the screen and it's very cute. Who is that?
This is Lulu.
Hi, Lulu. Oh my God, I love you, Lulu.
And how old is Lulu?
Oh shit. 4. Nope. Hold on. 5.
Better get
Oh
that.
my
Hey, better get that
goodness.
cannabis ready.
Yeah,
have
I can
geriatrics
get
already.
Lulu to 25.
Angela,
Let's stay in touch.
Hell yeah.
Angela, let me ask this: why? So, like, why did the United States own? Why did they decide to own the patent?
So that nobody else can make medicine out of cannabis.
But why?
Because
they lose a
Big
shit ton of
Pharma
money.
and FDA helps Big Pharma. That's why. Because of the lobbyists. That's why. Control. It's terrible. They made the Farm Bill legalized, and now there's a hemp ban in place for
Which
November.
is so dumb. 'Cause
And do you know why?
hemp is
Because
such a
Big liquor doesn't like that people are no longer drinking and they're turning to cannabis because there's no hangover or detriment to your health. Big Pharma, because they don't like all these people. There's a piece of research that shows that every single time a state becomes medically legal for marijuana, Big Pharma loses 1.5 to 2% of their revenue. That's billions of dollars.
I was going to say that's a lot of money.
In 2023, Pfizer made $300.7 billion. Pfizer owns Zoetis. Every one of the big ones have an animal arm. Every single one of them, every time they have a drug that fails for one reason or another, like Librela, which is one of the fucking worst, gabapentin, those are all drugs that failed. But remember, they went in there and they spent a lot of time and millions of dollars developing that drug. They ain't gonna throw it away. it comes over and they start releasing it as an animal drug. You have to tell everybody if they're on Librela, they need to stop. It is a terrible, terrible new drug that's out. There's over 17,000 adverse events. It blocks nerve growth factor. It's for osteoarthritis and literally causes horrible osteoarthritis and or death. FDA, that's what people are like. Even me. I interviewed the lawyer who's leading like a class action type of lawsuit. And I'm like, why isn't the FDA pulling this? Right? Raise your hand if you thought that that's what the FDA would do. If we had, no, they don't do that. It's up to the manufacturer. It's up to Pfizer to do it. And they're not going to do it. What have they done instead is they've released an injectable and they've upped their marketing because there's so many of us complaining about it. We got Facebook groups, a big ass class action. Their stock is starting to go down. So now they're going to push marketing and everything else on it. So please spread the word. This drug is so awful. But people also think, raise your hand if you think that pharmaceutical drugs have been tested to be safe and effective. Because they haven't. Wow, I like you guys. Because they haven't. This is what they have to do. They create the drug and then they have to, for 3 months only, prove that their new drug, is that a different one?
Yep, I got 4.
Oh my God, I love it. You're living my dream. Are they all Chihuahuas?
They're all Chihuahuas.
Oh my God, I love Chihuahuas so much. So they're all, whoa, that's not a Chihuahua.
My husband's going to work. He's a 911 dispatcher.
That's a big Chihuahua that just came in.
Yes.
Shit, what was I saying? Okay, so research, they only have to prove that the drug doesn't change the animal's health for the first 3 months. So they go to Ridgeland to get some beagles, or they go to Marshall Biosciences,
They're not coming to Ridgeland anymore.
I know. I'm so glad. And now we're working on Marshall. But they literally go and they get these dogs, and they're puppies or they're young and healthy. And these drugs aren't given to young and healthy dogs. They're given to old or sick dogs. And they test it for 3 months. And if health gets worse, then they're done. They never have to prove that the drug actually does what they say it's going to do. And guess what? When I got taught this, because I ran my own clinical research and I hired a research center who was run by a retired conventional veterinarian, he literally told me to dampen my expectations because he's never in his 15 years had a drug actually do what it said it was going to do. Mine was the first one, and mine's not a drug. Let me clear that up. Mine's an extract. Mine is the first one that he's ever seen in his 15-year career actually do what it said it did. So they do.
How long did you run your study for?
Well, it took a year to run it. But when he told me that fact, I then went to the drugs that I hate the most, which is Apoquel and Librela. And I looked up, and sure enough, not only do they do it the 3-month research only, they do it several times. And the reason they're doing it several times is because they're not getting the results they wanted the first or the second time. So, for instance, Apoquel has a warning that says not intended for dogs for less than 12 months of age. How do you think they know that? They killed puppies. That's how they know that. That's why that warning is on there. Because that's what they do. And they do it to these young dogs. So to me, if you really, really love dogs, I'd look at that pharmaceutical you're about to give them or that your vet just prescribed because it tortured and was tested on dogs. Now, I am not anti-pharmaceutical. They'll save your life. They'll save your pet's life. But that's what they're best for, is to be used in emergencies. Apoquel, Librela, all of these damn drugs that are given every single day, the body doesn't know what they are because they're a concoction of chemicals. So every time you put something in or on your dog, there's going to be an immune response. If it's something natural, it's going to be a good response. If it's something not natural, it's not going to be a good response. And then the liver has to figure out what the hell it is.
Can I ask this question? So I love this I love this definition of natural and non-natural because there's nothing is there anything that's truly unnatural? And the reason I ask that is because it comes from the elements on this planet. It's not like we're creating a brand new something that never existed. We may be modifying it, but it's not like we're bringing in an element from the nearest solar system or galaxy that's unnatural to this planet. So how do we define that? Like how do we actually say something's natural versus unnatural?
That it's in its whole form.
But it could be modified, right? So it's still a natural element of
No. So here's what our veterinarians are taught, what we're literally the society we're taught. Everything is to pull us away from nature. So for instance, I have a podcast. I've interviewed probably, gosh, at least 500 different veterinarians now, most of them holistic and integrative. So I ask them, what do you learn in school? We're talking about allergies today. What did they tell you about allergies? They are literally taught to get away from nature completely. They're taught that if the body is reacting to something, the body is wrong and needs to be turned off. So allergies,
exposure.
exactly. So they're literally taught that immune system having a reaction, an allergy reaction to something that needs to be stopped. And that's all they do. They don't ever get to the root cause. I literally was just on another conventional veterinarian's podcast. I didn't know she was conventional. I was like, I hope she looked my ass up first because and I told her, I go, I'm do no harm, get to the root cause kind of gal. And she asked me, what did I mean by get to the root cause? She didn't even know what I meant by saying that because that's not what they're taught. And then when the body is overreacting and they're told to stop it, they don't turn to nature and go, how will nature help? They go to a chemical concoction that they made. And no, that's not natural. That's no longer natural. If it was natural, the body will know what to do. So what happens is the liver now has all these chemicals. The action may still happen, meaning we blocked the one receptor that just turns the itch off, but whatever was causing that itch is still brewing inside and getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And now the liver has to deal with that and this new drug. So when the liver gives up, the liver will do one of three things. It'll go, okay, I don't know what this is. Let me get it out of the body. Or it goes, it sends it back into the bloodstream, comes back around again. It's like, I got to do something with this. It'll store it in itself. And or what it often does in our dogs is it stores it in their fatty tissue, which is why old dogs have lumps and bumps all over them. And the worst thing that you could do is cut out or cut into or aspirate that lump or bump that's filled with years of toxins. And it's like, why do I know this? And this is not taught to our veterinarians at all when they get out of school. They're taught, we need to realize that they're taught a standard of care. They're taught you've got this problem, you write this medication, you get this surgery, and then Mars or Smuckers or Nestle came in and said, and you give them this diet. And that's what the standard of care is. It's not get to the root cause. Do no harm is not even in the veterinary oath anymore. They don't even bother with that. Like, what happened to that? Because you can heal without doing additional harm. And that's all that these plants, mushrooms do, is that they're literally put here. Mother Nature provides us with all the food and medicine that we need. The body knows it. The body recognizes it. And it literally is supporting our innate ability to protect ourselves and heal ourselves. That's what our immune system is for.
Can I ask? I'm just going to be the controversial one today because I just feel like that. And no, it's no disrespect. I just think I'm going to ask the questions that our listeners would want to know. But wouldn't you say the average lifespan is longer now for humans than it's ever been and or pets?
Nope. It's not for pets. Hell no, it's not.
What's the studies that support that? Because don't humans live longer now or no?
I'm going to stay in the animal space.
Okay.
Sure. Are humans living longer? Are we not dying from like viruses and things like that we did in the olden days? Yes. But are we living longer? Is it better? Is it quality? I'm a
Mm.
56-year-old woman. I don't know anybody else except maybe one or two people that's not on one or two several medications by this time. I would have been if I had gone down the standard of care. I would be on Humira, which is already linked to lymphoma. I'm sure I'd be on another drug to take care of the side effects from Humira. All I do all day is get people off these nasty pharmaceutical drugs that are just making their life worse. So, no, dogs can live to 20. The reason that they're not living to 20 is because of the kibble that's non food. It's like us eating cereal every single day with no milk. So often a lot of dogs are being fed the same carbohydrate, non-food thing every single day. And then when things go wrong, and no judgment here, I'll back up. I lost my very first dog at age 7 because I did everything a conventional vet told me to do, including feeding the Purina Pro plan, doing the flea and tick, whatever shit you put on the back or inject them or pill, the heartworm, the vaccinations every 3 years. All of that is wrong. All of it. It's all a standard of care. None of that supports the body or the
So
immune
are you
system.
saying these natural remedies or plans, there's no side effects?
Sure, if they're not made right or if they're not taken in the wrong, if they're taken in the wrong amounts, absolutely. There's some herbs that can cause some damage for sure. What I like to concentrate on and stay in the lane I stay in are adaptogens. So adaptogens are plants and mushrooms that adapt to our stressors. So all four of us could take the same tincture and take it, and we're all going to have a different response because it's going to adapt to what is ailing and stressing us.
So how do you find the right one for pets?
So pets, you're going to want to make sure that it's got a certificate of analysis. Is there an expert and formulator behind the formula that knows what the hell they're doing? Because most, 85% of supplements are crap because it's not regulated.
Yeah.
Sometimes they put a vet or a doctor's name on it. That vet or doctor has no idea how to formulate a product. They don't know anything about plants and mushrooms. They were mostly just, putting it on there to make it look official and safe, but they don't know anything about that. So making sure that you get that certificate of analysis. The whole reason I formulate products is because I couldn't find products that were therapeutic dose, meaning if one dropper full is what is found that helps most dogs with this ailment, why isn't that's what it is? Why isn't it that potent? Because it's more expensive. Or why does every supplement seem to have additives, fillers, synthetics, and isolates in it? That's because the majority of them are all coming from the same place, and people are just putting it in a container and white labeling it. So that's why the majority of this stuff is bad. And you've got to learn to read the ingredients. You've got to be able to recognize you need to turn the bottle around because it's marketing on the front. Turn it around, look at the ingredients, make sure you recognize them, that you don't know if you don't know how to pronounce something or know what it is, put it back. And then under the other ingredients or inactive ingredients, you'll find things like preservatives, additives, and fillers. The only thing that should be there is maybe some water on a tincture and a safe preservative. On a capsule or a powder, there are going to be things listed out. If you see more than one, like 3 or 4 things, put it back. Additives and fillers are only in there so that the company can make more money, so that they don't have to put as much of the bioactive in there. So you'll find things like microcrystalline cellulose, silicon dioxide, stearic acid, magnesium stearate. All those don't sound so bad, but they are, and they shouldn't be in your pet's natural supplement. Do you want, if you were to buy a premium supplement for your pet, would you be upset if you found out there was sawdust in it?
Oh, you mean wheat middlings? Wheat middlings. That's in some of the crap food that's out there. Wheat middlings, which is sawdust, stuff that's scraped off the floor. When we talk about food, you mentioned kibble, right? A lot of people feed dogs a kibble diet, or they're then buying those processed foods that look like tubes, and
Baloney.
yeah, they cut those up. Like, what do you recommend? I mean, it's going to look different for each dog, but what do you recommend is the best kind of diet for a dog? And should they eliminate all kibble? Should it be incorporated in small portions? What's your recommendation?
I just believe in real food. So whether you want to make it, whether you want to buy a brand that's making a wonderful recipe together, I do a little bit of everything. Um, because I had a senior dog rescue for so long, I also witnessed that. So most of my dogs were fed raw.
Okay.
And as they got older, I noticed that the smaller, medium-sized ones, I needed to gently cook them a little bit. And as they got older, sometimes I had to also add a digestive enzyme to it, all natural, of course. So real food is real food is real food. And that's all. You know, I just want people to understand that we've been taught. I want you to understand that the veterinarian schools, the vet schools, are being sponsored by the same people who are making the food. They're also giving all of your vets free food. I know this because I teach at the vet schools and I walk through the hallways. Do you know what's all over the hallways? Posters for all the drugs and the food and the propaganda. I don't get invited by the school to teach. I get invited by the Holistic Club, and they come and listen to me on their lunch hour. Those are the veterinarians I want. I don't know about you guys. The ones, because you understand our veterinarians aren't even taught about diet and nutrition.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I, for one, I'm for the old school vet. I have a vet that practices very old school medicine where I'm at, and I take my kiddos to there. I'm very particular about all of that, but it doesn't surprise me either. Half the time, vets don't even know anything about rabies or the laws considered around rabies in their states that they work in. So it doesn't surprise me.
I love that you brought up rabies. Let's talk about rabies for a minute. Veterinarians have to get a rabies vaccination, right? Because they work with dogs that could have rabies.
Right.
Do you think that they just give that veterinarian a rabies vaccination every year or 3 years?
No, you check your titer. A lot of us in our profession have access to it as well.
So why aren't we doing that for our dogs? Why are we giving our dogs over vaccination?
I agree with you. We don't, but there have been cases where people have to fight citations. They're like, you know what, I'm going to get a rabies titer and show that my dog is still currently protected against rabies. And that actually, I mean, it's case law that they've won that. So yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think you just push the edge a little bit because this isn't a comfortable subject for people that are maybe dependent on
black and white.
Yeah, and I think both sides could have positive impacts. I mean, you even mentioned it earlier. I just think, how do we educate where it's not overly what's the word, instead of like
one side, maybe?
Well, like, think of an activist that just goes a little bit too far off the edge, like, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Angela.
Oh, you can call me whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. I'm a disruptor. I'm an activist.
Wait,
hell yeah.
Whatever the hell you want.
We haven't got to the section yet. We haven't gotten to the chat GPT. I'm going to wait for that to call you what it is.
I want everyone to understand they have a choice.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I think
take
is
responsibility, because I put the health of my dog into someone else's hands, and I should have never done that.
But when you have, let me equate it to this, like, when you have groups and organizations that throw red paint on people wearing fur jackets, like, that's not going to change somebody's opinion. It's just going to make them like them less, right? And so you have to find a different tactic.
I'm not here to be liked. I'm just here to tell the truth.
But then you're not getting your message
and
across.
I probably would throw paint on someone wearing a fur coat, so.
But you're not getting your message across, right? You may feel like
Am I not? I got a hell of a following.
From your own perspective, though, right? And if we're not looking at it, how do we be more what's the word that
how did we just close down Ridgeland?
Well, that was PETA, by the way. Shout out to PETA.
That wasn't PETA.
Yes, it was. We had Daphne Nakminovich on this program, and PETA was the initial investigators on that case. So yes.
Oh, good, but they're not the ones that got it shut down.
I mean,
they're not, and they're certainly not helping those people that are being arrested and prosecuted now either. But
well, that I don't know. But that's
a bunch of crazy ass people like me who are throwing red paint on people wearing. That's what we have to do to get the attention. We have to be the crazy person. I have been canceled, threatened. I'm a disruptor now. I don't care. I want you killed my dog. I'm going to talk about this for the rest of my life. That
And
happened
I
20 years
love the
ago that I lost
passion.
my dog.
I
And now
definitely
I
love the
know
passion
way
about it.
too much.
I love
And
the passion, but I think the delivery could be different. That's all I'm saying. Just, and I'm only speaking from my own experiences, right? Like I've been in situations
you know what's
where
interesting, Daniel, is my audience is not white men. That's for sure. They very rarely have trouble. They often have trouble with what I'm saying in my delivery. But I want people to know that they have a choice
I don't know
and that we
what
shouldn't
does
be
that
putting
even
our
mean?
trust.
Angela, what does that
Because
even mean?
you just said that you want me to change my delivery, that my delivery could be better and that I would be more
I think
prone to be
perspective,
popular.
I think perspective is better. Yes. I didn't say anything
That's
that you
great.
should change. I said I would not think that throwing red paint on somebody's fur coat is going to get them to change.
I've never thrown red paint on someone's coat because that is not how I operate. I operate in educating people and letting them know that they have a choice when it comes to caring for their pet.
Which is great.
And my audience is mostly women,
And so
and mostly women who are tired of being told
why I
this is
bring
the
it up
way we're
though,
supposed to do things.
and you may have your own views on human diets, but I choose to eat a plant-based diet, but I don't preach that to
Awesome.
people, right? I don't go around saying you should be vegan because I don't think they're ever
I
going to
don't
listen.
either.
I don't think
I
they're
don't
ever
either.
going to listen to me.
I
Yeah.
don't either. But aren't you glad that you know that you have a choice on what to eat?
Yeah.
That's
Certainly.
all I'm doing is letting you know that you have a choice when it comes to caring for your pet.
All right, well, let's do this because this is my favorite part of the show. And we ask AI what it knows about our guests because it's 2026. Matter of fact, how do you feel about AI before we even go into that?
It's like the best thing and the worst thing
It's so great.
altogether. It's one thing like being able to keep track of your pet's health, put all your records in there, ask for holistic, traditional Chinese, Ayurvedic, what they do, how they handle things, everything that our veterinarians aren't taught. I love using it for that because you really can, but you have to train it because it's just pulling information
Well,
off the internet.
it is. So let's see how
Mhm.
accurate it is because what we do is every end of the show we do a segment called "Who is our guest?" and who is Angela Ardolino, and it says is a holistic pet health educator, entrepreneur, and speaker who is best known for promoting the use of plant therapies, including full spectrum hemp CBD and medicinal mushrooms for dogs and other companion animals. She is a well known figure in the holistic veterinary community, although many of her views and recommendations extend beyond what is considered mainstream veterinary medicine. Some of the things she's known for: founder of CBD Dog Health, a company that produces hemp based wellness products for pets, founder of MycoDog, a brand focused on medicinal mushroom, I can say that word, medicinal mushroom supplements for dogs, host of Your Natural Dog podcast. She interviews veterinarians, researchers, trainers, and holistic health experts about natural approaches in pet care. In animal rescue work, she operates Fire Flake Farm in Florida. This must be older because you said you
It
did
is
that.
old.
A rescue sanctuary that has cared for senior special needs animals. Angela says her interest in cannabis medicine began after she was diagnosed with RA, rheumatoid arthritis. She completed the University of Vermont's medical cannabis education program and later shifted her career towards educating pet owners about the endocannabinoid system, nutrition, herbal medicine, and mushroom therapies. What does she advocate? Her recommendations also or often include fresh, minimally processed diets, full spectrum extract CBD, functional mushrooms such as turkey tail, lion's mane. How do you say this one?
Reishi, yep.
Reishi, and cordy. How do you say that one?
Cordyceps.
Cordyceps.
Yay, cordyceps. Those sound delicious.
Last of Us. Come on, sir.
The cordyceps,
Yeah.
are they good?
Those
La-
are the one. Did you see the movie? Oh my God, I
Cold
forgot
Storage.
Nah.
the. Oh,
The
yes,
book Cold Storage is fantastic, by the way, if anybody hasn't read it.
and what is it? The Last of Us
Uh-huh.
on HBO, where the
Yep.
mushrooms take over the people. So
Yep, it's
cordyceps
cordyceps.
literally go into bugs' bodies and take over them.
Zombie.
Wow.
It's a zombie
Okay. Almost
fungus.
done. She frequently discusses conditions like arthritis, anxiety, epilepsy, cancer, cognitive dysfunction in senior dogs, skin disease, and allergies. And then this is ChatGPT. Is her work evidence based? This is where it's important to separate established evidence from emerging research. Some topics she discusses have growing scientific report or support, I should say, particularly the study of cannabinoids for osteoarthritis pain, and seizure disorders in dogs. Although evidence is still developing and products are not FDA approved for testing these conditions or treating these conditions, other claims, especially regarding cancer treatment, immune diseases, and broad therapeutical effects of mushrooms or CBD, rely more heavily on preliminary studies, case reports, or practitioner experience than large randomized clinical trials. Many veterinarians view these areas as promising but not yet proven. In other words, she's an influential voice in holistic pet medicine, but some of her recommendations are considered outside mainstream veterinary practice and should be evaluated alongside evidence or advice from a veterinarian familiar with the pet's medical condition. So that's what ChatGPT says.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It says it a lot more cleaner than I did because I messed up.
I think it's interesting. I love when they always, want you to say the line, check with your vet first, but your vet doesn't know anything about the endocannabinoid system, plant, or mushroom medicine. So what are they going to tell you? I also love when they say there's no evidence, but everything that I'm talking about has been used traditionally in Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine for centuries. When I made my cognition formula, there was already the research on lion's mane extracts and Bacopa monnieri extracts and how they regenerate neurons and neurogenesis and regrow telomeres. That was already done, but we never get taught about that. We never get told. They're not reporting it on the news.
Angela, do you think in the next 25 years we'll see a major shift from the current pharmaceutical status to more of a natural path?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's always going to be because what happens is when something becomes mainstream, like cannabis, marijuana, and hemp, you see what's going on right now. So right now in this country, we rescheduled cannabis and everybody thinks that's good news. They've only rescheduled it so that Big Pharma can research and make drugs out of it. That's it. Big Pharma is giving in and going, all right, well now, just like they do everything else, just like how Mars owns its first CBD company and now has a raw food company, because there's enough people who are learning, trying and seeing, giving up on the standard of care and seeing, oh, wait, I can bring my dog back to health by feeding him real food and using natural medicines instead of ones that are going to cause side effects. So it is definitely a trend, but the big players have more money than anybody, and so they just buy up things. The best human supplement brands were Pure Encapsulations and Thorne. Both have been bought by the big guys. So the moment it starts becoming mainstream, it starts hitting their revenues, they then go buy it up, and then they slowly but surely change it. And that's exactly what they do. So you take these pure products and then all of a sudden you'll see these additives start ending up and they're inactive and nobody notices it because they want to make money. It's all about the money.
It is. I mean, I completely agree.
Yeah, conversations like this are good. It's important that people get educated, regardless of whatever way they want to go or don't go. It's important to always question regardless, knowledge is infinite. I have a master's in public health and epidemiology. So, I always look at all the factors rather than just one because nothing's the same. We're all individuals. And I feel like that's the big missing part in medicine is that we're not looked at as individuals.
Right.
Which sucks.
Yep. And you're not even, your doctor doesn't say even if you want to stick with conventional because it works for you and you think that's what's best for your pet, by all means, great. But do you understand that there's things that we could do beforehand and after? So if we have to get that vaccination, we have to take that drug, we have to do that procedure, there are things we can do to support the body to help it not, be so bad. And they don't even get taught that. Or this drug or this antibiotic is going to wipe out your gut microbiome. What do we need to do to rebuild it and replenish it? That doesn't even get discussed. Or what I brought about the vaccinations. So to me, pets in this country are property. So any bad player, and there's a lot of them in this space because there is no repercussion for them making a drug or supplement and killing your dog. If you even sue and win, the judge says, how much were your vet bills? They don't consider that that's a family member.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
Oh, we
that's
do.
why
Yeah, we
there's
absolutely
so many bad players in this space. I literally am a human clinician that concentrated on pets because I thought I was going to be here with a bunch of hippie loving, herb people. And now I'm like, that's not natural. That's not holistic.
Hmm.
That that's a bunch of isolates. It happens in the supplement space and in the holistic space where people go, okay, you've heard of milk thistle seed extract? Amazing for the liver. The main compound is silymarin. So what have they done? They've extracted just silymarin out. That's not how plant medicine or plant biology works. You can't just pull out one thing. You need the whole matrix. Just like Ashley, when you said that they should be treating everyone as an individual. That's literally what this is about, is that you can't just pull out one thing and say this works for everybody. You got to keep it the way Mother Nature intended it.
Yeah, I think that's
So I
solid.
did a
Yeah.
research study with a nootropic. Nootropics are adaptogens for the brain. I put lion's mane and bacopa monnieri, added reishi, cordyceps, and ashwagandha, which are also incredible for the brain, and had an 81% improvement from dogs. No other research has come close to doing that. So why my rescue is filled with old sick dogs is because when you went to the vet, and this happens often now still, and your dog is experiencing CCD, which is doggy dementia, they tell you there's nothing more that you can do. You shouldn't let it suffer and you should put it down. And that's bullshit because there is something you can do. So why aren't they being taught that? Why
Angela,
aren't they being introduced to those things, those
one,
types of things?
one last question before we wrap up. I think what you just kind of hit on, a lot of shelters will medicate dogs in the shelter due to stress, right? What are they using, Ashley? They're using,
Gabapentin,
Yeah,
trazodone.
yeah, yeah.
all the things.
What are some alternatives that shelters can do?
I would send any shelter, if any shelter's listening, I will send you all of the all natural calm for free to your shop. Give it to them. A full spectrum hemp extract. I add lavender extract, which is an adaptogen that's we all know for calming. I literally created it for my very busy boarding, rescue, and daycare
Yeah, yeah.
and grooming shop. But a full spectrum hemp extract is very calming.
How do they give it to the dog?
Well, mine's made so that the moment you put it in the mouth, it gets absorbed into the gums and goes into the bloodstream. But you can also put it on their foods. There's also people that make treats. But yes, if there's a rescue listening, I will get you all the treats, all of the calm, all of the full spectrum you need for your rescue, because you got to understand, I literally did not allow gabapentin and trazodone. Gabapentin is a terrible, terrible drug. But trazodone literally would knock the dog out. The dog would wake up during boarding, daycare, or grooming, be very aggressive and scared. We haven't trained it anything. It has horrible side effects. When a full spectrum hemp extract is literally bringing them back to homeostasis, bringing them to a parasympathetic state, which means they're calm. And now the grooming, daycare, or boarding becomes a training activity, and they're no longer scared, and they can see that it's not a scary thing. And then the like three trips to the groomer, daycare, we no longer have an aggressive, anxious, scared dog.
And what's the best way people can contact you? Just through your website or?
Yeah. My website, which is my name, angelaardolino.com, and my podcast is yournaturaldog.com, and my study is called the Senior Dog Study.
Super. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for having a great conversation. I love that stuff when people can just be real and talk about it. So we're happy to have you back if you ever have some more things you want to talk about and continue to really work on keeping our animals healthy. I think everybody wants to have our pets live as long as they can. I mean, I know I do. I don't know where he went, but that's my best friend right there. So
yeah,
the longer
that's how I feel
around,
too.
Yeah. So
Longevity is important.
That's right.
Let's continue to help people.
Help animals.
And keep it humane.
Keep it humane.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.